Slowly but surely, we're getting more and more denials from Trump associates that are falling apart when it comes to their interactions with Russian actors, diplomats, agents. We've now learned that Jeff Sessions did have conversations with the Russian ambassador Sergey Kislyak about Donald Trump's campaign, at least according to the ambassador himself. First, Jeff Sessions claimed he had no meetings with Russians at all. Then it came out, okay, he had meetings with Russians, but they were very brief hellos. They were not campaign-related meetings. Nothing about the campaign was discussed. We've now learned that Russian Ambassador Sergey Kislyak reported two different conversations with Jeff Sessions to his superiors, who, of course, was Donald Trump's foreign policy advisor during the campaign. These conversations were intercepted by U.S. intelligence, and they were, again, Kislyak telling his superiors, yes, we've talked about campaign stuff. We've talked about policy-related stuff. One U.S. official said that Jeff Sessions, who, again, remember, Sessions testified that he had no recollection of such an encounter. Kislyak reportedly said that he did have conversations about Russian policy. Sessions has repeatedly said campaign-related issues were not discussed. It was only in my capacity as a U.S. senator that I met with Sergey Kislyak. And Kislyak is saying, oh, no, we had conversations about policy related to Russia. And this could lead to even bigger problems for Jeff Sessions as Attorney General. Donald Trump already said a few days ago that if he had known that Sessions was going to recuse himself from anything Russia related, he wouldn't have selected Sessions to be Attorney General in the first place. And now we have to wonder, number one, whether this is going to further push a possible request for Sessions' resignation. And number two, I wonder if Sessions is being deliberately set up to ultimately end up resigning. Now, you might say, well, maybe Kislyak lied to his own superiors. I guess it's possible, right? Kislyak could have lied to his superiors and said, oh, yeah, I talked about policy stuff with Sessions, maybe to try to impress his superiors. Doesn't seem hugely likely to me. You could make the hypothetical that if Kislyak suspected his phone calls with his superiors were being surveilled or that emails were being surveilled, he could have deliberately lied about this merely to confuse American intelligence. I mean, it's possible, but it doesn't really fit into everything else we've learned about this situation.
Sure, Kislyak could be out there trying to deliberately mislead or brag even. I guess we really don't know when it comes to his own credibility, but what we do know is that Jeff Sessions has no credibility on this matter because he lied about meeting with any Russian officials when he was going through his confirmation process in front of the Senate. He was under oath during that, and I think most people at this point think that he perjured himself, even in a colloquial sense.
Yeah.
We don't know about this.
That's the growing question, which is this perjury, right? And unless Jeff Sessions truly didn't remember, it appears that it would be. But again, how do you prove someone did remember something? It is very difficult, and this is why perjury is a very, very difficult charge to prosecute, which is why it's so rarely even brought forward.
It also seems so obvious that they would talk about the Trump campaign or they would talk about Russian policy. I mean, what are you going to do during that meeting? Just, have pleasantries and discuss Russian adoption for the entire meeting?
It would be shocking if they didn't, right? That's why it's so hard to believe. Do you think, Pat, that Trump could be playing this 4D chess that some people, I don't even know if seriously or jokingly say he sometimes plays, setting up Jeff Sessions to resign because he's not pleased with him, and then I guess he could take further control over the Russia investigation? I don't know.
Maybe so. I thought it was really questionable that Jeff Sessions decided not to resign after that Donald Trump New York Times interview came out and Trump attacked him. But also you talk about four-dimensional chess. It's really not too crazy to talk about four dimensions when Donald Trump doesn't really understand the forward progress of time.
Well, with a lot of things related to what's going on with the Trump administration, many of their assertions only make sense if you believe time does not work in a forward path, right? You would have to have a different conception of how time progresses to make many of these Trump assertions true. We'll see what ultimately happens with Sessions. I don't know.